Hello, my people. It's your Negro with aptitude and host of the Blackboard, Mickey Lee. How y'all doing? Happy Over the Hump Day, or as we like to say on this channel, Happy Waste Not Wednesdays. Waste Not Wednesdays is the weekly series where we discuss prepping, first aid, growing food, how to prepare your mind, body, and soul for the sweeping changes currently happening in the United States and across the world, and much more sweeping changes to come. Welcome this week. So glad to have you with me. Thank you for spending time with the Blackboard. I want to remind you to please like this video, share this video, and subscribe. If this is your first time on the channel, I welcome you. All right, let's jump into it. This week, we're going to take a look at another product or system in the food growing industry. And this is a look at hydroponics. Now, hydro, meaning water, ponics, meaning, I think, a particular system, hydroponics. This is a system which allows you to grow food even if you don't have access to a lot of soil or good soil. This video is not by any means meant to be an exhaustive presentation on all of the elements of hydroponics, not by any means at all. But it is designed to get your mind thinking about your current living environment and how you might utilize that to start growing food so that you're able to feed your family should you decide not to take the vaccine, which in short order you will see that if you refuse to take the vaccine, they will refuse to give you a card or refuse to give you an authorization to buy food in the grocery stores or other places like that. As the grow zones shift and it starts to get colder and colder, not hotter, but colder, especially in North America, throughout Mexico and so forth, and it gets to be harder to control growing of food by typical growing methods, you're going to need to come up with your own way, your own food, and your own ability to grow food. Also, as they keep stoking the fires of civil unrest through one means or another, which unfortunately generally points back to black folks, ADOS, as they continue to do this, then you're going to see the outrolling of martial law, and that too will change your ability to be able to easily provide food for your family in a way that you are used to doing right now. So Waste Not Wednesdays is talking about a subject that is very, that is not at all in high representation in black media. We're always talking about the new black media, and I think it's doing some great work to help us recast the way we've been thinking about our political power, recast and about the way we think about engaging with this government. But what it's not doing is providing a lot of practical information for the documented changes already happening and already slated to occur based on what has been published in connection with Agenda 2030, which was published decades ago. And that's what we're seeing unfold. So this is where the Blackboard stands out, because this channel is designed to not only bring you this practical information that you need to get started on, regardless of what the Kardashians or Cardi B or anybody else is doing. It also is to remind you that ultimately you will leave this plane, you will stand before God, and if this channel is doing its job, you will have been reasoned with in a way that leads to your repentance, so you wind up on the right side of eternity. All right, with that long-ish introduction, this is why you need to pay attention to this video on hydroponics, because things are changing swiftly, and I want to give you some more information about how you might best position yourself to grow food for your family in those changes. So we're going to talk about Hydroponics 101. And again, it's just to get your feet wet. In the description box, you will see some links giving you a starting a jump off. That's the word I'm looking for. A jump off to other resources that are out there. Don't get overwhelmed. Choose some simple stuff to get started, and then you can build up from there as your skills and time mandate. All right, Hydroponics 101 here on the Blackboard in Waste Not Wednesdays. So what is hydroponics? The short answer is it is growing plants without soil, growing plants in water, allowing the seeds to take root in water instead of soil. Why should you be interested in hydroponics? Well, the short answer is it gives you a lot more flexibility than traditional soil-based planting methods. First of all, even though it uses water, hydroponics uses a lot less water than traditional soil-based growing methods. I wonder if you guys know that here in the state of California, which used to be one of the largest agricultural zones anywhere in the United States, and supplied not only something like 75-80% of the United States with various types of produce, but also other countries. The battles over water in the state of California have reduced the agricultural systems here in California to a much lower yields and much lower productivity than in years past. Like when I was growing up here, I'm a native Californian. In addition, there's a lot of waste in the agricultural zones in California alone. And we've always paid high prices at the stores for our produce, even though it is traditionally produced within an hour or two of most metropolitan centers within California. So it really is a trip. Right now, when I eat produce, half the time it has a sticker either that it was cultivated in Peru or it was grown in Mexico, and here I am in California. So one of the issues that hydroponics solves is using far less water than traditional soil-based growing methods. Also, hydroponics provides a greater amount of produce from the same plants and higher quality produce than traditional soil-based growing methods. It can produce produce year-round, and the reason it can do this is because you can grow food indoors or you can grow them in storage containers. Large shipping containers are now being transformed into hydroponic centers, and even in densely urban areas like the San Francisco Bay Area, as they throw up these new high-rise apartment dwellings and high-rise real estate, you are seeing a lot of them become mixed-use buildings, and even the rooftops are now being slated for hydroponic gardens. So it can provide produce year-round in areas where the soil is not conducive to traditional growing methods or is arid, or as the grand solar minimum, which I've told you guys about before in other videos, as that continues to show the effects of the grand solar minimum become more apparent and show even to the average person, and the growth zones shift from areas that were used to be highly productive for food cultivation and now are not. Hydroponics can solve a lot of those problems. Other big issues that it solves is that when you grow your plants in the soil, you have to pay attention to not only things like rodents, rabbits, deer, and so forth that may come along and eat your plants up before you can harvest them. But then there's inclement weather, too much sun, not enough sun, hurricanes, wind, frost, all those kinds of things. Hydroponics allow you to grow your food inside or in, temperature controlled containers. It solves a lot of that problem. And it's easier to troubleshoot the problems with hydroponics than with most soil-based methods. One of the big solutions that it offers is the ability to easily scale up or down depending on space available and, how many people you're trying to feed. So these are just some of the reasons why it is worth your time to investigate, at the very least, investigate hydroponics and see if it's something that you want to integrate into your family's Getting started with hydroponics is relatively easy. Actually, it's very easy. It can range from anything such as a arrow garden, which I'm sure you guys have seen a lot of commercials about the arrow garden. And frankly, I want to take this sidebar to tell you that the types of things you're starting to see promoted in the mainstream media, commercials for like how to grow food in your house and, other types of commercials, the number of times the emergency preparedness types of PSAs are being promoted in your local stations, and the increased frequency of these types of ads and PSAs should be a hint and a half for what that you need to start paying closer and closer attention to basic preparations at the very least, so survival preparations so that you'll be able to roll with the punches. But back to the topic at hand, getting started with hydroponics is can be as easy as getting an arrow garden, which are on sale now, ranging from anywhere from $100 up to $300 or so, depending on the size of the system that you want, and it's basically plug and play, to far more elaborate systems like the one you see in the picture in the middle, to more do-it-yourself, start at the basic type systems, which is the first image that you see. I'm actually going to get one of those more do-it-yourself basic type systems and, test it out and do some videos on it so that we can see how easy it is to use those. I did not show any external or outdoor hydroponic systems because, again, this video is geared towards people who are in heavily urban or densely populated environments like the one I live in, where access to soil may not be easy. But there will be links in the description box that you can use to get a jump off into researching all kinds of hydroponic systems for your particular living environment. So again, it can be as easy as a tabletop system to far more elaborate. Check them out and get started. Don't get overwhelmed. Just choose something that gets you started and build up from there. So what you will need to get started, the 5 basic elements that you will need here are listed here. Now, depending on the types of plants that you are trying to grow and how much space you need, you may need a few additional elements. But in general, no matter which system you decide to use to grow your plants, these are the 5 elements that you'll need to pay the closest attention to. So you need fresh water, and it's not just regular tap water, but it is high quality and pH balanced water. Don't fret. There are lots of products on the market, both in your local hardware store, your local gardeners, as well as some stores that are specific for hydroponic products. There are products that you can just add to the water that will maintain the proper pH balance. You'll also need oxygen. And when you start reading about hydroponic systems, you'll see that they compare it to a fish tank a lot. And so they'll talk about an oxygen oxygen source. A lot of times people will use an air pump or an air stone or some other mechanism to make sure the water is properly oxygenated. Root support. Remember, you're growing your roots in water, not in soil. So common alternatives will include vermiculite, I hope I am pronouncing that right, perlite, peat moss, coconut fiber, and rock wool. Nutrients such as magnesium, phosphorus, calcium, and other nutrients are available in plant food, so droplets similar to, or fertilizer similar to soil-based growing, or if to use the fish tank comparison again. So again, not to worry, these products are available on the market. The final one is lighting. Since each plant has different lighting requirements, just like plants that are soil-based, and you know that some plants you grow in the soil need bright sunlight, intense sunlight, others need shade, others need sunlight every once in a while, but not often. It's the same thing with the plants when you grow them in water. But this is created through artificial light. The good thing is there are lots of products on the market to supply light as well. Again, the rule of thumb here is to start simple, but start. So there you have it, a very brief but important introduction to hydroponic growing. Plant growing. As you can see from this slide, it's easy to Google indoor hydroponic systems, and all types of systems will come up, from those that you can use to grow food indoor to those more elaborate systems that are intended for outdoor growing. There's also, you can Google hydroponics for beginners. There are free PDFs out there. There's all kinds of information for beginners like myself and possibly like you, to give you the basics so that you can start growing food very quickly and, be successful at it. So don't waste any more time. Don't waste any more effort over this holiday season where things are slowed down a lot thanks to these unnecessary and highly disturbing lockdowns, in my opinion. You should have a lot more time to investigate things like this, which will have you emerge, as things become much more clearer to the masses about just how bad the situation is. You should be in a good position. You and your family should be in a good position to, again, continue eating no matter what, happens, and and if there's more civil unrest, then you don't need to go out of your house to get a lot of supplies. You'll already have them. If you have done the go bags, as I've talked about in one of my earlier videos, if you are storing food, canned goods, beans, rice, pastas, various things that you can trade with, flour, sugar, etc., as I've done in other earlier videos. If you've started growing food, maybe with torpedo pot, which I've done a couple of videos on, if you're taking action, and if most importantly you are turning your soul towards God, and you are asking Him to, first of all, forgive you of all your offenses, your sins against Him. And that is every last one of us. There's not one single person who is alive today, 7 billion people without sin, or who has ever lived that are without sin. Every last one of us does offenses to God every single day. Even if you're the nicest person, you probably are failing in praising Him. Even if you are a patient person, you're probably failing in thanking Him enough. Even if you are a person who always gives to the poor or whatever, there's some area, trust and believe, that you're failing at, and you need His Spirit in order to illuminate those things to you. And the main way you'll find out what you need to work on is by reading His Word. So I hope you guys aren't wasting time not reading His Word. You should be spending this time. He has slowed down the entire world for this year to give people time. He has used man's folly, man's foolishness, man's, maddening Anyway, he has used this man-made situation, this quote-unquote virus. He has used the lockdowns and the shutting down of churches, which many of these churches need to be shut down. But he's used this situation to give people ample time to get to know him, to turn their lives around, to work within their families, to help people know who Jesus is, and to be covered by his grace and his shed blood. Remember, folks, you are a spirit in human form, and your spirit will have an eternal destination when you leave this plane. All right. So hopefully you found this video helpful. I'd love for you to give it a thumbs up, thumbs up. I'd love to hear from you in the comments section. Are you growing plants? Are you storing food? What would be some Waste Not Wednesday topics that you would enjoy, you think other people would enjoy, and you would like me to do a presentation on? Also, share this video with your tribe and your network. Share this video. The more of us that are growing food, the more people that we can, work with, on a micro level to make sure folks have, enough. All right. And don't forget to subscribe if this is your first time on my channel. Welcome. Don't make it your last. This is your Negro with Aptitude, signing off. Thanks again for joining me on this episode of The Blackboard. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Also, take a moment and check out the information located in the description box. There are lots of links and information about other people that I watch who do excellent content to help empower you and educate you so that you wind up on the right side of eternity. We'll see you next time.